Trump is now a convicted criminal. Will Trump be arrested? Can he still be president? What might happen next? We'll try to answer these and other questions in this video, so stay tuned to find out what's going on. Welcome to Wonder Treasures. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Former American President Donald Trump today criticized his conviction for fraud in a New York court. The day after the historic trial, Trump made a speech to his supporters, attacking the judge in the case and current President Joe Biden. Donald Trump's campaign returned to New York's Fifth Avenue, where Trump Tower symbolizes the businessman's empire, and his debut in political life when Trump descended the golden escalator to announce his candidacy. At that time, few took him seriously, but today there's no doubt that Trumpism remains one of the main political movements in the United States. Inside Trump Tower, the former president spoke for 33 minutes to journalists and supporters. He confirmed that he will appeal the verdict announced yesterday, attacked the prosecution and the witnesses who testified against him, and once again claimed that the trial was rigged and corrupt without providing evidence, and complained that the judge did not allow them to have witnesses or to speak. "The judge is a tyrant," Trump said. However, Trump's defense called 2 witnesses, and Trump had the opportunity to formally speak in court but chose to remain silent. In his speech, he also criticized the lawyers and concluded by attacking immigrants, calling them criminally insane and terrorists. Shortly after, President Joe Biden spoke about Trump's convictions. "The American principle that no one is above the law has been reaffirmed," he said. He noted that Donald Trump had the opportunity to defend himself and that the entire process, from jury selection to the final decision, was the same as for any other defendant. Now, Trump has the opportunity to appeal, and after weeks of reviewing the evidence, it was the 12 jurors who decided to convict. "It is reckless, dangerous, and irresponsible for anyone to say the process was rigged just because they didn't like the verdict," Biden stated. Since yesterday, politicians from Trump's party have shown support for the former president, claiming that justice was used by the Democrats to persecute Donald Trump. The narrative of conviction without evidence has been echoed by Trump's allies worldwide, including the Kremlin, which stated that the Biden administration is using all legal and illegal means to eliminate political rivals. This was said by Vladimir Putin's spokesperson, who was re-elected 2 months ago without opposition. Allied countries of the United States chose not to comment, likely because they may have to deal with Donald Trump again next year if he returns to the White House. After more than 6 weeks in New York following the trial almost daily, Donald Trump left exactly where it all began 8 years ago, to tour the country for his electoral campaign. He is the first U.S. presidential candidate to be criminally convicted while running for office. Both sides will try to capitalize on this. Trump's campaign has already updated the official website saying, "I am a political prisoner and never surrender." The campaign announced that it raised nearly $35 million in donations after the conviction announcement, a record. Biden's campaign will use the verdict to attract undecided voters who could be decisive on November 5th. Donald Trump was found guilty in a criminal trial in New York on Thursday, the 30th, after the jury concluded that Trump broke the law by falsifying business records to cover up a payment to an adult film actress. He is the first former president in U.S. history to be convicted of a crime. According to local press, the sentence is expected to be handed down by the judge on July 11th, and Trump still has the right to appeal. For now, Trump faces no formal campaign restrictions and continues his electoral run. The U.S. Constitution sets few eligibility requirements for presidents, such as being at least 35 years old, a natural-born citizen, and living in the U.S. for at least 14 years. In theory, Trump could become president of the United States from prison on Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2025, if he manages to defeat Biden. Could he be imprisoned? It's still uncertain, but it's unlikely. The maximum penalty could be up to 4 years in prison and a $5,000 fine for the 34 criminal charges of falsifying business records that Trump faces. It's rare for people without a criminal history convicted only of document forgery to be sentenced to prison in New York. Can Trump still appeal? The former president is likely to present arguments that were rejected before the trial, such as the indictment being legally flawed and politically motivated. But the conviction does not remove Trump from the race for the November elections. Donald Trump's net worth dropped by $454 million this Friday, the day after his fraud conviction to cover up a case with a porn actress to avoid impacting the 2016 election. As of 1:50 p.m., Trump's fortune was estimated at $7.4 billion, making him the 352nd richest person in the world, according to Forbes' billionaire rankings. On Thursday, the 30th, Trump had just over $7.8 billion. This decline in the former president's wealth is mainly due to the sharp devaluation of shares in his social media company, Trump Media and Technology Group, TMTG, whose main product is Truth Social, a social network similar to the former Twitter, now called X. At 1:50 p.m., the company's shares were down 7.3% on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange in New York. The steeper drop, both in stock value and Trump's fortune, occurred after the former president's speech about the conviction. He claimed to have committed only a minor offense, spoke against immigrants, and attacked Joe Biden, the judge in the case, and even his lawyers. Before the trial, between April 17th, 2 days after Trump's trial began in New York, and Wednesday the 29th, the day before his conviction, Trump Media's shares had surged 123.8%. According to investment analyst Vitor Miziara, this rise before the conviction can be explained by market participants' expectations that Trump would be acquitted and, running for election, could win. There is an expectation that the company's president could become president of the United States, something good that investors hope for. He explains. TMTG shares were listed at the end of March on the Nasdaq after completing a lengthy 29-month merger process with Digital World Acquisition. On debut, the market was excited and drove the stock price up more than 40% on the first day of trading. However, the excitement soon gave way to caution, and within a week, the shares fell more than 30%. In April, the company's financial report, which reported a loss of $58 million in 2023, further melted its stock prices, making its shares the most sold in the market, that is, investors betting that prices would continue to fall. In addition to the million-dollar loss, what caught the most attention in the company's results was its revenue last year, only $4 million, raising questions about how profitable the business is. However, along with the start of Trump's trial, the shares rose again. Besides holding an estimated 60% stake in Trump Media, the former American president also owns a highly diversified portfolio, with holdings in various sectors. He is the president of the Trump Organization, which is the parent company of all businesses owned by Donald Trump and his children. Through the parent company, the family has hundreds of real estate ventures worldwide, including hotels, resorts, residential towers, golf courses, and they also engage in brokerage, sales, and property management globally. Trump also has businesses in the lifestyle segment, with brands of men's and women's clothing, home items, and golf products. Will Trump be imprisoned? Can he still be president? Here are some questions and answers. In a unanimous decision, a 12-person jury found the former U.S. president guilty on 34 charges in the porn star bribery case. Donald Trump, former president of the United States, was convicted of financial fraud for hiding a $130,000 payment to silence porn star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 election when he defeated Democratic Party's Hillary Clinton. The jury's decision, announced this Thursday, 30, in New York, was unanimous, and the former president, who is running for office again this year, was found guilty on all 34 charges. Here are some questions and answers about the case. Will Trump be imprisoned? Legally, can he still be president? How did Trump react to the verdict? What other criminal cases does Trump face in court? 1. Will Trump be imprisoned? The judge in the case, Juan Merchan, will still determine the sentence. The decision is expected on July 11th. In the worst-case scenario, Trump could face 4 years in prison. However, U.S. analysts believe it is unlikely that the former president will actually go to jail. The circumstances the judge might consider to mitigate Trump's sentence are as follows. This is his first criminal conviction. The crime was nonviolent. The convicted person is 77 years old. He has already been President of the United States and could be again. The most likely outcome is a fine and a period of probation. 2. Legally, can he still be president? In the US, a criminally convicted person can run for president, even if they are in prison. The US Constitution sets the following conditions for a person to be president. Be born in the US. Be at least 35 years old. Have lived in the US for 14 years. Thus, the Constitution does not prohibit a criminally convicted person from being president. At least 2 other politicians have run for US president with criminal convictions. About 100 years ago, Eugene Debs, even while imprisoned. He was the Socialist Party candidate and received about 1 million votes. Lyndon LaRouche ran for president in every election from 1976 to 2004. In one of those elections, even while imprisoned, he received 26,000 votes. However, this is the first time a former US president has been criminally charged and convicted, and it's unclear how the electorate will react to the process. The election is scheduled for November 5th. 3. How did Trump react to the verdict? Trump has claimed that he is a victim of political persecution and that the criminal trial is part of a supposed campaign to prevent his return to the White House. Upon leaving the court, the former president attacked the judge and stated that the real verdict will come in November during the election. This was a disgrace. This was a trial rigged by a conflicted and corrupt judge, he asserted. 4. What other criminal cases does Trump face in court? This was the first of 4 criminal cases Donald Trump faces in court. None of the other 3 are expected to be tried this year. The former president's strategy is to return to the White House to use the power of the office to resolve his legal issues. January 6th case. Trump is accused of attempting to illegally stay in power after losing the 2020 election to Joe Biden. The storming of the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, was part of this illegal campaign. There is no trial date set yet. Georgia election interference case. The former president is criminally charged in Georgia for attempting to overturn the election results there. There is no trial date set yet. Classified documents case. After leaving office, Trump took classified documents with him. He did not return these documents, and has been criminally charged for this. There is no trial date set yet. Subscribe to the Wonder Treasures channel to receive more news and discover a world full of treasures waiting for you.